Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode here at the Debate Circle. We are in the Mount Kenya Regional Debates and we cannot wait to crown the winning teams heading towards our finals. And the motion of dissection today reads, African governments must adopt alternative credentialing systems that recognize and validate skills acquired outside of formal education for better monetization. I'll read the motion of dissection again. African governments must adopt alternative credentialing systems that recognize and validate skills acquired outside of formal education for better monetization. Proposing and opposing this motion, we have TumuTumu Girls versus Bishop Gatimu Girls High School. All the best to both teams that will be coming on stage. Team proposition first speaker, you have 3 minutes.
Honorable adjudicators, distinguished guests, and fellow esteemed debaters, allow me, Grace Angel from TumuTumu Girls High School, to ignite this intellectual battleground by laying down the cornerstones of our stance, which asserts that African governments must adopt alternative credentialing systems which recognize and validate skills outside formal education for better monetization. I'm more than honored to adhere to my obligations of making you familiar with the terminologies I've used. First, what is credentialing? This is a verifying of qualifications of professionals in a certain area. Why will that even be necessary? This ensures that all professionals are competent and they have the quality skills to serve the public, thus protecting the public from unqualified individuals and maintaining high standards of ethical conduct. Skill is the ability to do something. Monetization is the bringing about of financial value out of something. I believe the opposers here are wondering, why would I propose such a motion? Allow me to quench your curiosity. First and foremost, the moment our governments adopt these alternative credentialing systems, it's going to address the issue of unemployment amongst our youths, which is a pressing issue in Africa. Based on a report from Africa Development Bank in 2020, it shows that 60%, a whole 60% of unemployed Africans consist of the youths. And why is that? This is because after they've gone through the system, all they're waiting for is to be employed. But the moment our governments adapt to alternative credentialing systems which recognize and validate skills outside formal education, these youths, these individuals are going to be able to stand out for themselves. They can employ themselves and earn just by investing on their skills. As I conclude, I still firmly propose that African governments must adopt alternative credentialing systems that recognize and validate skills outside formal education. I rest my case.
African governments must adopt alternate credentialing systems that recognize and validate skills acquired outside formal education for better monetization. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the motion of today. And allow me, it is my due obligation as the first speaker, opposition, to help you understand what this motion is about, because clearly, side proposition does not understand what we are talking about here. I will start by defining the term alternative credentialing systems. This refers to methods of systems of recognizing and validating skills that were obtained outside educational pathways. For example, I can do an online course on medicine for 6 months and still have the same job opportunity as a person who did a course for 7 years. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me, is that fair? The second term I'll be defining is to validate. To validate is to confirm that a skill claimed by the individual can meet established standards. Exactly as I have said, a person who has done medicine for 6 months can take a certificate they got from the online course and take it to the government and still have the same job opportunity as someone who did a course for 7 years. Now, what is monetization? Monetization is simply the ability of individuals to derive economic value from these skills obtained from outside traditional educational means, which takes me to my first point. So if side proposition is telling us that yes, the government should adapt other credentialing systems apart from the one we already have, the academic credentialing systems, which has already provided millions and millions of jobs to people. Now, you cannot tell me that a person who is doing law law for 7 years, and a person who can just sit down in front of their laptop and do law for 6 years can take their documents to the government and have the same job opportunity. Now, as I rest my case, I stand here to firmly oppose the motion. My name is Bevni Wanjiko from Bishop Gatimu Gandu the Great, and I rest my case.
Optimism, as they say, is a feeling that something will be successful. The sky is the limit, but my ambition to propose this motion that states that African governments must adopt alternative credentialing systems that recognize and validate skills acquired outside formal education for better monetization has no limit. And before I expound on my point, and before I expound on my motion, our fellow learned opposers, you say that we do not understand what we're talking about, but are you aware that prior preparation is not amongst you? African governments adopting this alternative credentialing system that recognizes skills will address skill gaps in our continent. This means that alternative credentialing can quickly adapt to needs in changing job market. Take, for example, industries like tech and digital marketing. This needs skills not always taught in formal education. To add on to this, Africa adopting alternative credentialing system that recognizes skills will help in reducing brain drain. Among citizens of our continent. If skills are recognized and rewarded locally, fewer people will seek jobs from the first world countries and from other continents, hence leading to industrializations in the country. And this is why I know that adopting this alternative credentialing system that recognizes and validates skills that outside formal education for better monetization will be successful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time we stop this old tradition of focusing on formal education and start recognizing and validating skills that outside formal education. And with this, I rest my case.
I am here to register my sincere disappointments to our proposing side, because in our motion here, we have the word validate, which has the word valid, but your points are invalid. My name is Miriam Nyambura from the Bishop Gatimu Gandu Girls, standing here to strongly oppose the motion that states African government must adopt alternative credentialing system that recognize and validate skills acquired outside formal education for better monetization. To start us off, we all know that here in Kenya, currently, that there is no one can get a white collar job without a certificate, right? So we have perceived value in job markets. Employers may still prioritize traditional degrees due to ingrained perceptions of their value. Tell me something. If you are an employer, would you rather employ someone who just comes and tells you, I have an experience in singing, I've ever sung one day and everything, and they do not prove that they're actually good in singing. But when we have documents, when we have the formal traditional, we have the traditional system of learning, we are able to prove whatever you're saying. I'll come here and tell you I am I'm very disciplined, I'm time conscious, and you will be able to prove that when you see my documents, you see my living certificate in my schools, so you are able to confirm and prove that I'm actually whatever I'm saying I am. That brings about trust. I'm going to be trusted by my employer because I've spoken out and I've told my employer that I am disciplined, I am time conscious, and I have proven it. So I have a better chance of getting a job rather than a person who is coming in front of me to tell me that I only spoke and I have an experience in speaking. On to my second point. I would like to tell my side proposition that if ignorance was a bliss, then you could be the happiest people. Why? Because you have ignored basic qualification. What is basic qualification? It is that qualification that you get in school, not only going to have the skills and acquire skills from outside the classroom, but also having skills that are inside the classroom. For example, your teachers, they give you they nurture you to manage time well, to have respect, but going for outside skills will not give you that. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. I can really see that our opposition here, you are really not understanding what you're doing in this debate tonight. From the TumuTumu Girls High School, a home far away from home, I, Mutai Shalom Wanjiro, is here to strongly propose the motion that states that African government must adopt alternative credentialing system that recognize and validate skill acquired outside formal education for better monetization. First, you say that if you want to get a collar job, you need to have a certificate. How many people are forging certificates to get those collar jobs? How many people are out there with certificates and they have no job? How many? There are very much. There are a lot of people out there. Isaac Asimov stated that self-education, I firmly believe, is the only form of education that there is. What do I mean? That one, we need, by having skills, we are boosting our economy. We are boosting our economy by initializing and adapting these skills into our system. Anything that is entered into the system of Kenya is taxed. Anything that brings money into the system of Kenya is taxed. By taxation, we raise our government revenue. By raising our government revenue, we raise our economy. We are all living in a crisis that we are calling high cost of living. What are the Generation Z this week doing? They are out there in the streets fighting for their rights because of this high cost of living. And we need to curb this high cost of living. And how? First is by equalizing, fairly taxating our job opportunities out here. We are all crying about high cost of living, high taxation. But when you enter skills, they are going to be taxed. And when taxing skills, we raise revenue. And by raising revenue, we raise our economy. By raising our economy, our taxes are going to be fairly distributed amongst us. We need to look at these guys. People are out there crying. People are out there suffering. And you're here undermining them. You are here making them feel small in the economy, making them feel small in the system because of formal education, because of getting a grade A. Excuse me. Professor Njuguna Dongo last year on May 20th, this year on May 20th, announced that our economy has boosted from 4.9% last year to a 5.6% this year. Come on, guys, this is the place where you applaud. Applaud. We have done something great. So our economy is continuing increasing, and the way we are going to increase it more is by allowing these skills. As we ponder on our choices, let us remember that the choices we make today, they affect our tomorrow. So please, we have 3 seats. Join our side to propose this motion and adapt this credentialing system. Thank you.
Now, I'm fully armed to assist you cover up for the mistaken points you're trying to validate. Now, I, Wamboi Claudius, from the great Bijigandu, stand here to strongly oppose this motion. Now, you stand here and tell me, ask me that how many fake documents you're having in the country. Now, exactly, that's what we are trying to eradicate. Fake documents. Now, faking of documents has increased in our country, in that right now we are having quack doctors that are killing people, and yet you expect me to stand here and negotiate with you? No, I won't. Now, towards my first
to what my first speaker said. Did you know that the wise first said, seeing is believing? Now, you cannot get a certificate or a badge that will validate you as a doctor, for example, and just because you sat in front of a device. Meaning, I stayed in class for 7 good years, I studied doctorate, and you sat in front of a device for 6 months and got the same certificate. Now, tell me, is that fair? No, it's not. According to SDG number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. The implementation of alternative credentialing systems should be done in a transparent and inclusive manner, ensuring fairness and accountability in skills recognition and certification process. Now, we cannot both have the same certificate, and yet I put into my work, I put into my time, I put into my efforts to get that certificate, and yet you just what you all needed was connection and a device in front of you, and yet you expect me to accept the credentialing of these systems. Now, unless you stand here and prove to me that we need to be fair to this motion, I don't rest my case, and this case is closed.
My beloved people, I stand here so disappointed because I thought I signed up for a debate to discuss statistics and facts and not delusions and fantasies. But oh well. First, to the last speaker, you've said people are forging documents. This same system is what's encouraging people to forge the documents for them to fit in. But the moment we adapt other credentialing systems, they won't have to have those documents because their skills, they can earn from their skills. As I exit this stage, I encourage you, all of you, to join me as I advocate for a future where skills speak louder than certificates.
I was just about to take my luggage and hop on to side proposition, but then I thought, ladies and gentlemen, while side proposition promotes alternative credentialing systems in African governments, we must consider the practical challenges these systems will face. For example, who do you think will trust you if you go somewhere and tell them that, yes, I did this course and I have a certificate, while they are already used to these traditional systems where you have to present a KCSE certificate, show them, yes, I did the course in the universities. Who will trust you if you go and tell them that, yes, I did this course and I have the certificate? Moreover, the infrastructure needed to implement these credential systems, the resources in our countries, in our African countries, we do not have them. And with that, I rest my case.
From the TumuTumu girls, we expected that you explain to us why should the government do so? How should they do so? Was it fairly done? We feel that more should have been done, but, or rather nonetheless, we had our first speaker, Grace. She has a striking introduction, very striking, well backed up evidence, the Employment Development Bank and so on, dated 2020. However, she left on the stage too early. We also expect more passion. Passion comes from the verbals, you are non-verbals. Do you utilize them well? We feel that more needs to be done. Otoma Faith, again, you did your very best. However, we expect a more vibrant rebuttal. Otoma Faith, Remember you have this, sorry. That's Otoma Faith. Yeah. Second speaker, we expect maybe a vibrant rebuttal, one that shakes the ground. We feel that needs to be maybe boosted. Something needs to be done more on that. Again, stage presence, we felt that you left a little bit early. Utilize your time fully. Listen to the bell. Do not exit the stage without hearing the bell. If you exit the stage without the bell, the ringing of the bell, we believe maybe you are short of points, you are not confident. We need that. All right, Shalom Wanjiku. Again, I think is one of the outstanding speakers from this side. A good introduction, the mention of good jobs and so on. We felt that that needed to be backed up, the good jobs. Who has proved that jobs are good? Where? When? Statistics. We need more of that. Again, we love your stage presence. Again, you commanded the stage very well, exquisite. Again, you did involve the audience. Believe that's where you asked them, this is the time you should applaud. And indeed, they did not let you down. They applaud. All right. Again, there's also how you existed your stage. Choices made today affect our tomorrow and so on. Believe that was a good one. The energy was top notch. Keep up. Again, now to the Bishop Gatimu, Wanjiku. I love how you made a comeback. We love how you made your comeback. A bit, you did breathe in a little bit, but you had the 1, 2, 3, then you made your comeback. Again, you have a good stage management. You did try a little bit of rebuttal, which is not bad, but we feel that you needed to back your points with more research, more evidence, and so on. Very important. Again, the issue on time, you need to utilize your time fully. Very important, extremely. Mariam, again, you had the invalid analogy kind of thing as you started, which was a good one, a captivating introduction. Time was a bit overspent. Take note of that. We do not wish to have you spend too much time or maybe less time. Kindly utilize the time set. Again, for Mariam, we expected the points to at least be tied to the motion that's being argued out. We felt that you kind of deviated a little bit from the motion. To Wambui, a great rebuttal, good one. You did try to tie the SDGs, you mentioned them, which is a good one. Time, we felt that you exited again too early, and so on. But basically, I believe that those teams have put up a spirited fight. However, we expect the issue on time to be taken into consideration because the bells signify, or rather are there to alert you on when you should prepare to exit, when you have overstayed in your presentation and so on. However, all the very best to both teams.